Adding sound effects to your work must be one of the quickest and easiest ways to add production value to your drone footage. A lot of people don't know this, but YouTube has a free, royalty-free library of music and sound effects that you can use without any risk of getting copyright strikes. So I've put a link below for your convenience to check that out. It's what we used for the first 2 years of this YouTube channel, so definitely worth a look. By way of example, I have here a teaser video from a wedding that we filmed 4 years ago on the Greek island of Mykonos, and you will see how we have used sound effects to enhance not only our drone footage but our other B-roll within that clip. So let's roll the clip and we'll come back and talk about it in a second. As you've just seen, in the space of about 1 minute, we used 21 sound effects. Now, from a drone perspective, generally speaking, the sound effects that we use would be wind noise. It's a great way of adding atmosphere to your work. We like to use bird sounds, seagulls, particularly if we're filming at the seaside. Ocean noises, waves, they can add a lot of atmosphere. So you've got a lot of options. Those are our go-to ideas. But in this previous clip, you saw that we used a helicopter sound. We made that drone shot into the sunset look like a helicopter was actually filming that shot because we used the helicopter sounds. And as you saw later on, the helicopter had a role to play in that film as well. So the sound effects are tying it all together and helping us tell the story. The mechanics of adding a sound effect really couldn't be any easier in any piece of video editing software. Simply download the sound effect and then drag it onto your timeline under your piece of video and just move it to wherever you want it to be in relation to that video. These days we actually source our music and sound effects from one of our channel's sponsors. It's a website called Epidemic Sound, and there they have tens of thousands of music tracks and sound effects. And in our opinion, it's a very good source indeed. Having those extra sound effects actually separates them quite substantially from their peers. We've used them all, and certainly in terms of value for the music and sound effects, Epidemic Sound is our #1 choice. So do check it out if you're at that stage. Speaking of our work, I want to show you another clip here from a few years ago. This time we filmed the wedding of a couple who came all the way from California to the Scottish Highlands to get married. The groom in question is a professional musician. He played the Celtic instruments on the Braveheart soundtrack all the way back in 1995, I think it was, and since then is the go-to guy in Hollywood for these kind of instruments when they're required. So a very successful gentleman, and we were instructed to make sure we captured the sounds of the day, the music, the dancing, the singing, all that kind of stuff. Amazing wedding, lovely couple, but the pressure was on. The actual music track you hear was recorded separately by us from their wedding ceremony, and we've combined that with a lot of sound effects. And I think the result, well, it still gives me goosebumps when I watch it. So let's watch this now and you'll see another example of how we incorporate sound effects to enhance the quality of our own work.
There's a very beautiful line from the prophet by Khalil Gibran. It says, "May the winds of heaven dance between you. May the winds of heaven dance between you." We know that there'll be plenty of music too in your love for each other, but also plenty of kindness. Don't let the music stop.
If you haven't done it already, go and download some sound effects and enhance your work in the quickest and easiest possible way. At the start of that clip, there was a shot of the Glenfinnan Viaduct. That's the big curvy bridge. It features in Harry Potter, a very famous Scottish landmark. Well, sometimes a steam train goes across that. We didn't film the steam train, but we put the sound of the steam train in anyway. It's a bit of a cheat, but it can help you add a little bit of atmosphere and texture to your video, even if you can't actually see the source of the sound. So you could put farmyard animal noises in, for example, if appropriate, bird noises. Even if you can't see the source of the sound, it can still help. It's just a little trick. Give it a shot. Start with the YouTube royalty-free music and sound effect library, link to that below, and if you want to upgrade, do check out Epidemic Sound. As for making the most out of your skills, we have a bunch of free resources here. If you check the links below as well, we have ebooks on video editing software. We have a free ebook, 37 drone tips to get you flying like a filmmaker, and we have some beautiful paid for courses as well on the drone side of things. Anyway, if you're new here, please do subscribe. Lots of content to come, and we will see you next time.